Well, sometimes we get a little distracted here on the radio network. It happens sometimes. I know I'm famous for, well, my co-host on Saturday calls me Squirrely. Um, see, she ain't even here, so she can't even defend it, but she does. She's the other night we're doing some shit. You squirreling out again. You squirreling out again. I'm gonna get me a little squirrel noise thing for the sound effect. It's coming. Just wait and see. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I have Amelia Pisanio and Laura Poppin with me tonight, and myself, Joe Montalvo. Everybody else is off tonight or hiding or doing whatever. And you never know, somebody might show up later on. You never know, because we put out about 10 invites. Couple of things, guys. If you're a regular listener to this, you should write to the other paranormal show hosts and ask them, why the hell aren't you here on Monday? Because I just asked a bunch of them. On another note, Bigfoot and Bunny is not live on the network anymore. We will still be syndicating them, but they're not live anymore. So I didn't want anybody to get. Anyway. It's just how it is. If y'all need to know, y'all can write to Chris or Kristen and ask them what's going on. And we are having another show that's going to not necessarily be leaving, but being moved. We might have two of them being moved. Yes. Well, you know how Joe gets sometimes. He gets a little frustrated, so he starts flipping people around and shit. Or he starts firing their asses. That does happen too sometimes. You know, this station's now 20 years old, and in its creation, on 3 occasions, out of the blue, I just fired like 5 people at a time. The only person that outdid me was Stephanie Benetti. Rest in peace, Stephanie. And she fired like 9 and made 4 more leave. So it was like a whole flipping new host. But it is how it does work. Every so often, we'll get X amount of new hosts on the network, either from burnout or whatever reasons. I mean, people come and go for whatever reasons they do. There's a few that stay a long time, and there's been several on the network that have been here more than 10 years. So, and they all do a good job. Everybody has their niche in what they're doing. We don't let you on a network if we think you're idiots or if we don't think you can entertain the masses. Yes, even though most of us are researchers or something along those lines or have X amount of skills, we still have to entertain. It is part of our job. And by the way, write to YouTube and tell them what a big POS they are while you're on. Tell them Joe said so. And on that note, the lawyer is active and on the case. And them bastards try to buy me out today on the four class actions. I mean, not the class actions, the 4 small claims. Again, I'm like, no. I said, no. I said, you know what? Offer me 4 times that, and I might think about it. I said, but less than that, no. I want you to come down. You got to meet the press when you come down here. Your little VP is going to come down here, and the press is going to be waiting for him. And they're going to want to know why this big effing guy here is picking on this little guy here. And I'll be all pathetic looking at them. Like, I'll look pathetic. Like, I might come in raggedy clothes and stuff or something. But I hope they don't go look at none of the videos and find out actually. You know, on a weird side, and one of my favorite stories is it just happened about 18 years ago. So this guy's in Florida panhandling. He's on a corner, right? One of the biggest corners in Florida, down in Dade County, Miami area. And they're saying he makes sometimes $300-$400 a day. And of course, there's been days where he made $1,000 here, right? So this lady and her husband, who were good Christians, had gotten some food together and some money, and they couldn't find him. So they were driving through the neighborhood looking, and they see him walking down the street. And they slowed down. It was slowing down as he walked into this monster house. This is like 4,800 square foot, 2 Benzes and a Porsche in the driveway.
Wow.
So come to find out, he was turning $140,000 a year off that corner. $140,000. See, and what really sucked about this for everybody who's seen this, it made me stop giving money to people. I was like, because I always like to give money. Matter of fact, Linda used to get on my ass all the time, but I was famous for like tipping the girl $20 and bringing me my pizza and shit. She's like, you can't do that. I'm like, yeah, maybe it's working, especially if it's like a holiday or something. No. But anyway, so they just out there panhandling. So now, and then to work it even worse down here, the Grunger kids decided they're going to work the car. So they'll get out there as a couple with their dog. And, you know, out there. So I'm like, guys, you don't give me no money. So why would I give you money? Boy, go get a freaking job. I said, matter of fact, you know what? I have a job. You need a job? Come with me. I'll put you to work. You walked off.
That happened in Toronto, the shaky lady. I don't know if you heard. You must have heard about that, Amelia. That was years ago at the Eaton Center. And she would pretend she was shaking, and a news station caught on to it. And they followed her. She was making $350,000 a year. And the minute she go around the corner, she'd be walking perfectly straight.
Panhandling, 350, and she walked herself to her Mercedes Benz. She was charged. She served. I believe she served time for that. Yeah, fraud. There's so many things that it is. Yeah.
I don't. Wait, what was that? Who? What? What are you talking about? Oh, Oh, you need this? Yeah, I do drink like that sometimes. Usually when I'm drinking, I drink like that. I don't know. Tonight I just got a Coke in my hand. So don't ask me where it came from. I have no idea. It's a pinky thing. God only knows, man. Probably some girl. Look, that was a long time ago. Hey there, George. Uh, it's I don't know. If I knew, I would tell you. Y'all know I tell y'all everything about my damn life. I get in trouble for all the time from my friends, family, and coworkers. So you can't just be saying that about us. I said, why? I've been knowing you forever. Like the guy I know who's having an affair with the blonde ghost. She's a hot blonde ghost, mind you. At least a picture.
Of course she is.
But but I can't. Ghost. I mean, come on. What kind of and it's not the first time I've even heard of a ghostly relationship. It's just weird to me. The people. I don't want to sound rude, okay, but there's 7,500,000,000 of us. If you can't find somebody, you just ain't damn looking. Mm-hmm. What do you mean? Because you're ugly? No, ugly people get married all the time. You know what I found out? Ugly people, when they get married, usually have the prettiest kids you've ever seen. Pretty people. Pretty people don't always have pretty kids, by the way. Sometimes
in the nursery, Joe, you'd have Ken and Barbie have a baby, and God love that poor little soul that was born. It was so homely. We used to call it FLK syndrome, funny looking kid syndrome. And then you'd have the most homeliest people, and this baby would look like a Gerber baby. I don't.
It's a weird thing. It's truth. You don't have to take my word for it. Go look around. Go find you some ugly parents and look at their kids. You'd be like, what the hell happened here? Was somebody cheating on somebody? No, and I'm serious. Some of my
all the time, and you expect Ken and Barbie to come over,
and for the guys out there,
bottles and this baby, God, and you feel so bad for the baby. So of course we love them all, but
and for all you men out there that are listening to these, wow, you need 1-800, 1-900, and go on the internet things. Well, I know there's women that do it now too. I don't know how to tell you all this, but usually women that have these really sexy kind of bedroom voices are not what you think they are. I don't want to be rude. I don't want to say nothing. I don't want to be rude. I would just say investigate it is all I would say. Well, I'm going to tell you why, because I know a couple of big girls that are friends of mine, and their voices are like, if you hear them on the phone, you're like, God damn, girl. You see them in person, you thinking about running out of way.
That voice did not come from you.
Oh, no, it did not. One of my friends, Tony, we went to go meet this girl, and they kept telling me how hot she was and how hot she sounded. I said, dude, you ain't seen her yet? He's like, no. I said, okay, I'm not going to say anything. We pull up. This girl comes up to him. So he's sitting on my car, and I got a big Oldsmobile 98 back in the day. So he's sitting on my car, and this guy's like 6'3", 240, 250. You couldn't even see him. Just a little puff of his little fro up here and his little black tennis shoes. That was it. I was like, and we got in the car, he was leaving. He said, yeah, I'm going to kill everybody. It's not, I mean, they were really nice, but it's a strange, weird, I tell this to people all the time, and we're going to have to do a show on this, but God has a way of evening the playing field. He just does. One thing I noticed with girls that had no boobs, they either got big butts or long hair. Don't get mad at me, ladies. That's a fact. Go look for yourself. Well, I didn't say that women didn't have long hair in general. I'm just talking about it. No, I'm not talking about that hair that to me. I'm talking about hair that comes down past your ass and shit. Yeah, don't ask me why. I don't make these rules. It's just stuff that goes on our planet. Don't hate on me. That ain't got nothing to do with paranormal. Well, maybe it is paranormal.
Speaking of paranormal, Joe, what day is it today?
Thanks to Amelia.
I'm like, when did I get on the boob show?
That purple boob show. So what is it? International Paranormal? It sounds like a pancake day or something.
It's International Paranormal Day.
See, I want to say International Pancake Day when you say that.
Oh, isn't that every day, really?
I don't know. I haven't eaten a pancake in so long I couldn't tell you, but or a waffle family. Damn, man, I don't even be thinking about this stuff when I'm sick. That's why your co-host tells me I'm squirrely. Oh,
yeah, she calls me that too, so don't.
By the way, Michelle, Amelia and I share a co-host.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. Something about that did not sound right. But anyway, y'all know what I'm talking about. That just came out completely wrong.
Two redheads for the price of one.
Oh, man, that's crazy. But anyway, we are here tonight to talk about real paranormal stuff, guys. Even though we've been cutting up a little bit. I always ask people when I'm interviewing them, why did you get into this field? What made you, want to look at UFOs or ghosties or demons, or why would you want to use your psychic abilities to get the crap scared out of you, for lack of a better way of saying it. It just, I've always wondered about that because really, when I was young, I had no interest in this crap. I was like, what? Ghosts, demons, UFOs, what are y'all stupid? Y'all on crack. It wasn't until I got in the Navy and started hearing all these pilots talking about these weird things they saw all the time. I'm like, what are you talking about? And then I met a guy who ran a paranormal investigation team out in California when I was stationed in San Diego. He did it on, I think it was a Queen Mary actually, and he was weird, but he showed me a lot of weird shit. Because I told him, I said, dude, you're not going to convince me by telling me. It's seeing or believing, that's it. I don't. You can talk to me till I'm blue in the face. It's just not going to make.
Sorry about that, guys.
You know? So it was kind of weird that. But anyway, he took me a couple places, showed me some really weird stuff. And and then I still remember. He goes, Joe, you're from New Orleans. I know you've seen ghosts. I said, yeah, when I'm drunk, I don't care. I said, when you walking through the court at 4:00 in the morning, and you see this woman walking by in a ball gown, or one of the big Southern Belle dresses all made up. You just ignore that shit. You think either they're coming from a party somewhere, or you ignore that because you know it ain't supposed to be there. So you just ignore it. Well, one of my favorite stories down is that there was a couple came in from New York City. It was a gay couple, lesbian couple. So they're strolling on the side of the cathedral, St. Louis Cathedral, where they used to sell the slaves. On one side, they used to hang the slaves, and one side, they used to sell the slaves. And they used to do a lot of strolling through there. It was a place that had food out there and places to walk by and booze and alcohol kind of stuff. It was just a trading area. So this couple comes in. They'd been out all night partying. They have a good time. They said, really love the city. He said, her and her girlfriend, actually her and her wife, were sitting in one of the chairs facing St. Louis Cathedral and the park right in front of it. Jackson Square is right in front of the cathedral. So she said, I was just sitting there. And she said, my girlfriend, my wife, kind of hit me in the shoulder and said, wow, look at these dresses these women are wearing as they walk by them, right? And she said, I had the weirdest sense that something was wrong. And she said, then they walked up about 30 feet and both of them squatted down till their dresses hit the ground and just kind of sat there for a minute. And she said, I couldn't figure out what was going on. And she said, we watched them, and then as they turned the corner behind the church, they just disappeared. She said, but I thought they were out of sight. So she said a couple of weeks later, her and her girlfriend were doing whatever. And she said, I was just looking up for, if there was anything that happened at night. And she couldn't find any events going on, but she had found some stories of women who used to stroll there. And then she found out that women back in the day, they have these little things cut through the concrete, right? So you could stop and pee and keep walking. God. And so you couldn't see anything.
That's what they were doing.
That's exactly what they were doing. And the streets were made that way. So I'm thinking, so you're having a paranormal event of someone peeing. I guess anything is possible, but it just weirds me out.
Maybe that's residual.
That's what I was thinking.
Maybe it is.
Yeah. Because why would a ghost need to pee?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's an event.
That sounds more like residual, something that,
I'm just caught in the framework.
Loop.
What a loop of residual energy, though, over and over, stopping to pee. I
guess, whatever happened the night that the girls were peeing there must have been a lot of energy that night or something. Or maybe because that's where they hang everybody, there was a lot of other energy.
Other lives that they squatted to pee and not watching, and maybe that's horrible, but maybe somebody came up behind them. Maybe that's what
that's true. That's what I'm saying. It's hard to say while it was there, but both girls said they didn't feel any malice or anything in any way. So they said she said, actually, the one lady said it was just surreal feeling. She said it was almost. She said for a moment there was something about the cathedral in the background that made her think that not necessarily were they here, that they might have been there for an instant. So what she was saying is she thought that there was a flash of some kind, and they were back where the girls were. The girls weren't actually up where we are, so it was like they went backwards in time for a split second and came back. But she said when she remembers looking at the cathedral, and it had this weird brown patina on it with this riverboat scene coming across. Man, that was like 1808, 1809, somewhere around there. I have to look it up to be 100% sure, but that was a long time ago. That wasn't any time recent. And so that might have just been part of the moment. Whatever that moment was, that little piece of energy, all might have been incorporated in it. I just would have liked to know what caused it. Yeah.
I was thinking of, like Laura Lee said, some event was happening. Like, what if there was a hanging or something and they were just there waiting to watch us? They'd be standing there for hours. That would be stressful enough to create an imprint, especially if it's a family member that was being hung. It's an odd thing to have as a residual piece. I've never ever heard anyone stop to say, I've seen a ghost relieve itself, kind of thing, right? But that was common then.
Before. Yeah, but I've actually heard about people seeing ghosts peeing on the side of the road. So I've actually heard that before. But
wow. Yeah.
That just made me think the guys peeing on the side of the road got hit by a car or something.
Or like I said, that's what I keep feeling. Like maybe they weren't paying attention and bent down. Like it's got to be some kind of event, like you said, Amelia, to mark it energetically that it would be residual, or that this kind of thing you would be seeing.
Well, because it's a weird thing, and we know there was on the street they were on is where the sales were going on, so it was high energy anyway. They're selling, they're up there selling slaves. On the other side, the distance of the church to the next alley is where they were hanging people, blacks and everybody else, but it was considered a sport back in the day.
I was just going to say, wasn't it a social event? Because when you
mentioned it was a social event.
Why would you dress that way? And then I forgot it was a social event.
It was to come watch people get hanged. And sometimes it was slaves, sometimes it was owners, sometimes it was this, that, or the other thing, but they were constantly hanging people every day. It was pretty much an ongoing thing down here. Actually, Billy, they didn't care about witchcraft in New Orleans. We had Marie Laveau and stuff. Marie Laveau was black and did witchcraft. Nobody bothered her. They didn't kill her or anything. They didn't take out the swamp and murder or anything.
Marie Laveau.
Yeah, New Orleans was a weird city. It's not your typical. When you look at New Orleans, whether you look at slaves or whether you look at anything in our country, remember, Louisiana has parishes, not counties. We do things differently. We have Napoleonic law. It's we can still beat our wives every Sunday with a 4-inch thick belt. So bitches, you better behave yourselves.
That almost sounds like an invitation.
I'm telling you. But
I knew I'd get them there.
I gotta move the peanut gallery on this side of it.
I knew I'd make them blush.
That's the best kind. But no, I mean they get weird stuff like that, like the stupid blue laws. You can't wear flip flops while you're driving, and all kind of retarded laws. But the city's different, and the state's different. It's not a normal. It's not like if you're driving through the South. It's different than the rest of the South. It's first off, New Orleans itself is a progressive city, so it's a liberal city. So it's weird when you're driving through all the rest of the southern cities. They're very conservative. You hit New Orleans, you're like, what the hell happened here? Plus, now Louisiana's looks like they're getting recreational marijuana.
Good.
They got full blown medical now. Anybody can get it. You got bellyache, you can go get it, but they want to make it a thing for the tourists to come down. It's already a big tourist city. That's okay. New Orleans said they might legalize prostitution. I'm like, oh my god, there'll be all kind of weird ghosts walking around after that. That's another thing. If you go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say though. You know what? Again, we know it's the world's oldest profession, and you look at certain countries that have done this. It's going to happen anyway. So at least it's legalized, and doesn't mean it's perfect. I'm not saying I don't think it's a perfect thing for anybody to have to do, but I'm saying it's the world's oldest profession, and if they're going to legalize it, would be safer for sex workers, anyways. You would hope, and for, I guess, their customers. I don't know.
No, it should be. There's a part of Decatur Street way back in the day. It was the red light district. And you always hear stories about these girls walking the streets. So you'd be 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and this guy was telling me about this girl he's seen, and I'm like, he said, John, no, she was a hooker, but the way she was dressed, he said, it wasn't like no hooker I ever seen, but I could tell the way she was acting. I'm like, okay, dude, what's New Orleans? It's a weird town. They were telling me what she was seeing. And then the other two people with him, he said, no, Joe, it was weird. He said, I'm telling you, it was like we were walking and walk backwards 100 years, 150 years, and then come out the other side. He said it felt like, because when the people you're around, he said, I didn't see horses, he said, but I could smell horse manure everywhere. And that's how the quarter used to smell, horse manure and liquor back in the day, kind of like Roswell does today. Sorry, Roswell, I didn't mean to hate on y'all, but it's true. It is. Yeah, I go to Roswell, you're going to be surprised. It's a stinky little town. It's a cool little town for UFO people, but it's a little stinky sound. They run cattle through there from time to time, that's why. But it's the whole scenarios are weird. I mean, you'll just hear about a lot of, like, if you go out to Doolin Oaks, there's 2 places in Louisiana, actually 3 places, in New Orleans. You used to go to City Park, Ottoman Park, and Esplanade Avenue. Esplanade's got a big, wide path that runs all throughout the quarter. It separates the French Quarter from the Maronese, which is just two different neighborhoods where there's a lot of things that go on. But people used to come through all day. They'd be strolling down. That's where people used to go meet their girlfriends and their lovers. Or they'd be riding up and down in their buggies, looking at everybody, seeing the events. But there was also dueling that went on there. In City Park, they have dueling oaks. They got 300-year-old oaks. And they cut the trees, limbs come all the way to the ground. They cut pathways through them so you could go sit under the tree and get all your stuff ready and then come out and duel. And of course, whoever died, was taken away. And not all duels, by the way, I didn't know this, not all duels were to the death. There were some duels that were not to the death. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
I didn't either. Yeah,
wow.
Gentlemen rules. You just had to knock them out.
Oh, that makes sense. That sounds very, very, very Victorian.
So it was a little strange when you hear about some of it, but in Ottoman Park. But all these areas have heavy imprints, and I'm sure some of it's ghost, and I think some of it is left behind energy, but it's hard to tell sometimes. It's like the two actually kind of mix together on occasions when you're out there. And then on top of that, after Katrina, when there was new water up to my neck on Esplanade, people were still seeing these things. Plus, they were seeing reptilians walking up and down the street.
Really?
Yeah. There was all together. There was 7 NOPs that reported it, and all together 11 National Guard over a 2-year period.
Wow. So what was with the reptilians, Joe? Did they figure?
The cops never could remember anything. Neither. The stories all ended the same. With the cops, it was all the same thing. We were sitting at the end of the quarter, because the quarter's high ground, so it didn't flood. It only had like 2 feet, 2 inches of water got in it. So they'd be parked at the end of the quarter, watching the water go. And one of the things somebody said they had seen that lived in the neighborhood said they had seen the reptilians walking through, taking bodies and tied strings to the street and tying them to the stop signs. Well, we know that went on because on several occasions there was pictures of bodies tied to the stop signs so they could be found. And there were some firemen and cops doing it, but they didn't take credit for all of them. They said there had to be somebody in the neighborhoods doing it as well. They said because they were just, because there's quite a few people died in the city. Most people didn't realize that. But yeah, they would float and they would just come up and tie a string around them and tie it to the stop sign so they could be found. And it'd be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bodies.
Wow.
So they said the reptilian, they said there were people like reptilians walking through and doing that. But all the cops said the same thing. They went to, because they thought it was like some guy walking around, some big tall guy in a suit or something, right? So they went to address him. They all said the same thing. They remember getting out the car, walking into the water, walking towards the thing with their hand on their gun. And next thing they remember is sitting in their car, getting ready to leave. And they don't remember anything in between. National Guard says the same thing. He said, dude, the first guy who called us, well, first off, there was an NOPD that reported this to us. That's how we found out this, Matt. He was in training down here. And then that's what made us start the investigation, and we had more people come in after that. Well, National Guard, there was 3 of them walking through the water, headed down Esplanade down to Rampart Street. And they had the M16s with them, and they walked up on this thing. It was walking towards them. They were walking towards it. And he said, I still remember flipping my M16 over like I was going to put it in front of me, and the next thing I do is remember is walking away towards 2 police officers who'd seen the whole event, by the way, sitting on the edge of the quarter. They wouldn't get out their cars. They were scared. This was reported on several occasions. It was weird, but there weren't people reporting. This was trained policemen and trained people who, and remember, the National Guard that was down here at the time had just came back from deployment in Iraq. So these are trained troops. These aren't guys that are easily scared. These are guys who have seen frontline action. Mm-hmm. And so when you hear that, you're kind of like, you know what? It was creepy. We regressed 2 of them. Well, two of the police officers and 2 of the National Guard, and so 4 of them all together. But it was creepy. They didn't take any of them. It's like they just sent them back.
Like you said, law enforcement and National Guard. Why only them? That's interesting.
Well, because that's only really people that were around there at the time.
But you said no other people, so
yeah, because
at that time too, it just, you know what I'm saying? I'm asking, not that we have the answers. It's just, it's an interesting question. I understand with the scenario. Yeah. I can't even imagine you're not going to see people.
Because there were a handful of people around the area. The quarter still had people in it, but nobody was leaving the quarter. There was only a handful of people in the neighborhoods, which any of them could have made the report and seen it. But in the end, for some reason, and they only seem to have been in this particular section of Esplanade. I didn't get any reports anywhere else. It was from where the river is to about halfway down Esplanade, and they were in that section for some reason, which is between the French Quarter and the Marigny, which are just two big party areas. They're party areas in, the backside of the quarter is actually mostly homes with some businesses. It's mostly gays that live in, and they're really nice homes, but it is the gay part of the quarter. That's what they call it. And then across Esplanade is the Marigny, which is just more nice homes and a little section of restaurants and bars. But it's all kind of high end stuff, and it's for some maybe the reptilian liked something about it. I have no idea why it was there or how many of them were there for that matter.
Wow.
They were just kind of cruising around. But you take those stories and then you go to the next level with them, because Matt, when he reported this, he remembered being in Oakwood Mall, so it just tells you how slick these things are. So the reptilians were training these cops how to do crowd control, and they were using the mall. So, most malls, if you go in, have pull down metal cage front doors. So that's what they use for jail cells. And the back walls are brick, so you're not getting out. And the side walls are metal. You might get through sheetrock, but you're not going anywhere else because all the cages are closed. There's nowhere to go. And so they were showing them how to use these blue stun sticks. And Matt was saying him and this other cop were just like, no, man, it's not how you do it. And the guy just reached down and bit him on the shoulder. So under hypnosis, it's there. There are no physical marks. But with it was not ultrasound, it was an MRI, there were internal bruising inside. And the doctor was like, well, how did that happen? He said, did somebody just jam something? He said, there should be bruising. There was no bruising whatsoever. And he said it, and it seemed like that the interior was, healing at an accelerated rate. Whatever it was, he just, because Matt said the thing was probably 2 foot taller than him. He just reached down right on the shoulder, just and just bit right into it, and looked back at him like, now, are you going to listen? Like, what the hell's wrong with you, you man?
Crazy.
But there's lots of these stories that came from this. There was 5 or 6 of these officers and National Guard people that come in and told us they were part of these training scenarios. Some were at Oakwood Mall, and some were at the New Orleans Arena, which is out by the lakefront. So I don't know what to make out of it, but these are credible officers. I mean, 2 of these officers had been on the force for 30 years. I was like, man, I mean, you lose your job over this. Never could figure it out, and still don't. We still don't really know what was going on. We just know that it happened.
Wow.
But when you got those kind of witnesses, it's hard. It's hard to get around them. But that whole area up in there, like I said, it's haunted. And somebody in the old days, somebody was always getting killed out there, and still even today, people get killed around there from time to time. Even though it's not a bad neighborhood, you just you roam in a quarter, 3 a.m, you never know what you're going to run into, or who you're going to run into, and that's why we tell the tourists, don't ever travel alone, and find a local to help you know where the bad streets are and stay off of. Because some of these guys, like I met this couple one time, they're going down a quarter, it's like 4 a.m. We out there with a bunch of friends, and they come walking out from behind this thing because they wanted to smoke a joint. I looked up at them. I said, where are y'all from? Y'all want to hit from here, are y'all? And they're like, no. I said, y'all should not be anywhere in this area. I said, you're tourists, and I can tell you're tourists, and anybody who around here knows you're tourists is going to rob you, maybe even kill you. I said, y'all need to walk with us. So y'all just need to get up here with us and walk with us until we get back to Bourbon. I said, there are certain streets in the quarter and certain streets around the quarter, especially if you're around like Armstrong Park, that you should not be if you're not a local. Because you know what? The bad people know the locals and who's not local. Locals act different and they dress different. We live down here, so we're dressing different than because tourists are weird. A lot of them tour from up north will come down here with heavy clothes. Well, you regret that as soon as you get off the airport plane. And then the rest of them just don't want to wear any clothes, which is illegal, people. I know y'all think y'all come down and go and get naked, but it's illegal. I'm just warning you ahead of time. Because you see people down here sometime in the summer, you just kind of like, really? Really? Okay, there's no imagination left there.
Do your homework before you go, like to see what you're
You
going
should.
temperature-wise, what you should bring. Like, even I know when I've left, and I'm sure you've done the same, Amelia and Michelle too, when you've left from here and it's like minus whatever below and you're going somewhere warm, you bring a change of clothes, and not naked, but a pair of shorts and a t-shirt.
Yeah, something you're comfortable in.
Plain.
But this is how you know. But this is how you know a local from a non-local down here.
Oh,
you will not see locals in shorts in the quarter, even on a hot day.
I'm usually really dressed up when I'm traveling, though. I'm terrible that way.
So am I. I like to dress.
Yeah, I like to dress when I travel. I look like I'm heading to an office. Yeah, I look more like the person that's running to an office building than the person that's touring,
when I was flying out to DC,
yeah, I also believe in dressing on a plane as well. It's really rare. You'll only find me in shorts and a t-shirt in my backyard or on a beach. That's about it.
No, but why I said that is when you're leaving, like it's 50 below here, and you've got clothes. Then you bring. But you bring a change of clothes.
Oh yeah,
on the plane. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, because I watch a lot of people come down here. They'll be dressed to the hilt. They'll get off the plane because they just left New York where it's 18 degrees, and they get down here and it's 77 and rainy.
Yes.
And you're like, what? Your body's going, really? Can I leave now?
I always check. It doesn't matter where you go. You check. I always check the weather. What's it going to be like where we're going? And then,
I tell everybody, you don't have to prepare.
I leave my coat with my driver. That sounds so stuck up, but I mean, I've done it. Because I get the same driver all the time where I've just left my coat in his trunk.
Makes sense. That makes
sense. Yeah. Keep your damn coat. It's
like, can you keep my coat in the trunk?
Usually, I haven't really been anywhere cold enough.
Because you have the same driver, though. Why not?
Yeah. Well, I've had him for years, so yeah.
But I was thinking, I don't really. When I'm wearing a suit coat, I haven't really been anywhere cold enough that I've needed something to wear over that. Because usually I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt and suit coats, and most of them are nice, and they're usually comfortable. I do remember when I used to smoke, we were in DC for I think it was like the 4th or 5th X conference, and I was sitting in the car smoking a cigarette. I said, what the hell is that smell? I went to flick the cigarette. Well, the cherry must have came in. Somehow I didn't burn my car seat, but it burned right through my freaking $400 jacket.
Oh, no.
I was like, well, I went back. Got me another one. But see, now I got all kind of suits in there. My ass too fat to wear, and I'm going to die from COVID. I gotta be slim. I gotta be slim by October, man. I got places to be, things to do. I gotta be on TV and shit. I can't be looking like
you gotta keto yourself.
Actually, the funny part is most of my jackets I can fit back in now.
I won't be sending you any chocolate. You mean? That's what I said.
I'll be giving it away. It's right now.
Spoiled you.
Well, I'm doing pretty good. I got down from 265 to 230, so I just need to get down about another 15. I'll be happy.
Good for you.
And
congratulations.
Well, anything smaller than 200 makes me feel wimpy.
I don't think you should be less than that. Joe's like 100 pounds more than me.
My damn Chihuahua probably weighs more than you do. Oh my
God.
Oh, she
wait, Fiona's kind of close.
She get up there, man. You gotta watch her. She's a big girl. She's big loving.
I've seen her with that brownie.
Oh my God. Yeah. Was that not the most adorable thing? Oh my God.
I got one where she's fighting me. I gotta put up one of the things. She's like, she gets vicious over them damn things. I got her one of them buddy bones, and I throw it on the bed. And I'll be reaching for the remote, right? You hear, I'm like, well, calm down, dog. That's paranoid.
God, they come with attachments. I'm telling you, Michelle and I can clear that for you in a day. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's got an attachment already. Kick it in the head.
It comes with an attachment. I've seen it with my dog.
She is the funniest dog, though. You tell her bye-bye, she hits the car. As soon as she hits the car, she's huffing the whole rest of the day. You're like, what? Calm down, dog. She can't help herself.
Aww.
She wants to be on the road, but she ain't quite figured out how to calm down yet. And we give her meds, but they help some. Not enough, but some. Oh, people, I got to drug my dog. What can I say? She's a paranormal dog. What can I tell you? She's possessed.
You know what? And it is I'm not saying Fiona's possessed, but since we're on the paranormal topic somewhat, it is possible for
yes,
entities to attach themselves to animals, and we get that question a lot. And it's one of the reasons why we try to be so protective around our little fur babies, because they're so vulnerable.
Well, that would explain Maximilian. He was definitely possessed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he would eat anything.
It's like Cujo, right?
Oh man, look, a motorcycle. This dog's 4 pounds. He's trying to leap out the window of the car to get to the motorcycle.
Oh my God!
What are you doing, dog?
I
almost got my son killed by going after a Rottweiler. I'm sorry,
it's okay. No, all I was going to say is, and of course, can I prove it? But no, I'm positive too. My animals in my old house with all the activity are dead because of what happened in that house.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of weird stuff going. Mm-hmm. Jimmy, You mean, why did I get into it? Yeah, I know this topic tonight. We just haven't got there yet. Them girls are bad. What can I say?
We're bad. That's he's between two Canadian girls.
That's right. You see, that's why I'm being so well behaved tonight, because I don't want to end up in a cage.
I'm so calm right now because I had a meatball sub, Joe. So like,
just bite me. How's that?
You wish. I'm so calm right now on a nice, beautiful French baguette.
You can bite me too,
and I put
baby.
it under a broiler with some beautiful fresh mozzarella.
Wait, where'd you go?
Yeah, you're an amazing cook too, because she'll post pictures of her food, and it's like,
oh yes, I'm fixing a banner for my damn list. It makes me hungry. I'm not kidding you. Was it last week? Week before last? So she sends me this picture of this damn pizza. So I tell me, I'm going to kill Amelia when I see. She's like, I said, why? She goes, why? What did she do? I said, I've been craving a pizza for a week now. So, and then wait, this is even worse. I finally had this 2 places got good pizza. I'm gonna go get a pizza. Right? I pull in, they close because of COVID. I'm like, what the fucking shit?
Ooh, the F word.
Jeez, I know. Thank God we got a bleeper thing.
He's hungry.
I am hungry, and then I haven't eaten yet today either. It makes it even worse. And then so I said, all right. I said, I got this damn picture of this pizza man. I said, I'll go over to this place because they make great cheese pizza. Walk in, COVID. We're closed. And I don't think they open back. So
I said, well, if I ship you one.
So I said, I'll just order me a raggedy ass Pizza Hut pizza, and I'll just have to eat it.
It's better than nothing.
It was better than nothing, but it didn't get rid of craving. So yesterday, we're in Mobile, Alabama. We're actually in Dolphin Island yesterday was where we were. And so I pull up in Dolphin Island. I said, they got a great pizzeria there, right? Old school pizza. I'm going to give you a pizza. So I walk in. I said, I want to get a pizza to go, but I'm going to take it home with me. Right? She said, we'll be about an hour and 10. I said, what?
What?
She said,
what are they doing? Like growing the tomatoes?
They're just busy.
No, they're busy.
The South is opened up again. I got to keep this in the back of my head. First off, half of our restaurants are closed, so they closed down. So now everybody's going to half of the restaurants. Yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah, it's 20 minutes each pizza. If he has 4 people ahead of him, he's going to be an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was. And they make a great pizza too. And I told her last, well, you make great pizza, but I can't wait an hour for it.
Do they have ghosts there? Since we're trying to stay on the paranormal.
Actually, they do. And that's a weird. This place is weird.
Really?
There's 2 restaurants there. This place is sitting on Dolphin Island. Okay, now Dolphin Island sits out in the Gulf of Mexico. It's detached from Lower Alabama. It's down in the Gulf a little ways. And there's only 2 ways to get there: by this little skinky ass skinny bridge that goes way up in the air, or the old ferry that crosses from Gulf Shores, Alabama, into over there. So, they got a lot of stuff on the island too. The island's old school. It's like going back in time when you go there. I mean, it's a weird place to be. For a long time, you had to watch. They didn't like locals at all, and they didn't like anybody that had anything but an Alabama plate on there. And God help you if there was any kind of color to your skin at all, you were not welcome. Now all that's changed now. No, that's all changed now. And now it's anybody can go down there, and they still ain't real happy with out-of-state tourists, but anybody from the state can go. And if you're from the South, yeah, you're okay. You still ain't big fans of anybody from above the Mason-Dixon line. They got to deal with it because that's life. But it's a beautiful place. Like yesterday, the waves were crashing in at about 14 feet. Just gorgeous, hitting the things. And you're just sitting there. You can hear them crashing for half a mile away. The whole place has got this misty, foggy rain mist going over it. Really nice homes in the neighborhood. You get a lot of mixed neighborhood, but there's nobody really poor on the island, I'd have to say. I mean, there should be. But for some reason or another, I guess, because there's not, there's only like a handful of places to work. If you're living there and working, then you're driving to Mobile, Alabama, something which is like a half hour away. But, if you're retired or if you own a place, just a great place to hang out. Everybody, once they get to know you, everybody's as friendly as can be, but they got to get to know you first. Mm-hmm. But they got 4 or 5 little restaurants on there. They all have really good food. There's a couple of nicer restaurants, but that's what I was getting to. So this place where we're talking about is an old country club on a golf course sitting on the Gulf side of the island, because the island's surrounded by water, but there's a bay side, the inland side, and the Gulf side. And so we're sitting on the Gulf side, sitting there, and it's kind of beautiful, stunning views. And then you got a slopey grass thing that goes in. The thing where people always see ghosts coming through there, but they see them in the restaurants all the time. Both these places have been there since before Camille and Betsy, and have been covered in water more times than I can count. Under Katrina, they were under 15 foot of water. Under Betsy and Camille, they were under 30 foot of water. Still surviving, still there. And every time they come back, because they're cinder block buildings, They come back every time and they restore the old weird golf course that's out there and they restore everything. But a lot of people have died out there over the years. Some out swimming. There's been shark attacks. There's been people who have been drowned. Lovers that have been killed. Crazy fights where people have been killed. It's just the whole thing is surreal.
Tragic.
But it is, and you can see, like sometimes, perfect example. Pulling in one day, you see these two ghosts. It's all you can call them because they're translucent, walking up the path to the restaurant, getting ready to go in the restaurant. And we weren't even the only ones that seen it. Anybody, almost everybody outside seen them. Everybody was kind of like, because when I got up to the restaurant, the lady said, "Did you see that?" I said, "Yeah, I sure the hell did see that." And she's like, "I saw it too." I was like, "I don't know what the hell it was, but I saw it."
I love it.
And what was funny though, when they were walking in, the door must have been somewhere else because they walked right through where this window was, and they walked right in there. I think that's where the door used to be. It must have been moved. So the lady I was with said, "Well, I know the owner." I'll ask, and sure enough, he said, "Yeah, about 100 years ago it was moved." Mm-hmm. And I was like, "Really? 100 years ago it was moved?" I was like, "Hell,
yeah,
is that Lily?"
We've talked about this before, right? You don't know what they're seeing from their perspective, right? Like it could still look the same to them as when they were alive, as versus what it is now.
Why are you saying hello?
It was a creepy place. Who is that? Do we know somebody in there? I think Lily just joined us. Oh, no, maybe not. She must be ragging. Is that Lily? No, maybe. Oh, she is saying hello.
Yes.
Hello. Where you been hiding that, chick? We thought you'd been probed. I thought Donald Trump done took you away or something. I was getting nervous because I know where you live, so I was getting nervous thinking, you might have been trumped out or something. He was making me nervous for all my DC friends. Not so much for the rest of the people in the country, but he made me nervous for DC. I was scared somebody might firebomb the whole city or something. I was getting a little nervous.
Lord.
Hey, you never know. And then here comes, the other guy. They might bomb it for him, too. That's another haunted city, though. DC is haunted like an thing.
Oh, I would imagine so. They're so historical.
We've tried on a few times to get permits or permission, I should say, because people tell me Smithsonian is haunted out of its mind. Mm-hmm. They say there's all kind of weird shit walking all over. I think there's nine of them, 10. How many of they are now? Smithsonian. They say they are just littered with ghosties.
That makes sense, though.
I imagine it must be something there. It must be attached to an item.
Mm-hmm.
What I would think.
Well, we used to broadcast. That's where one of my networks was before, and especially Seraphine and I, we would have crazy stuff happen, like EVPs and all kinds of stuff, or even other people that were broadcasting, even that weren't doing paranormal. They'd get like a lot of EVPs, and we had a ghost that would swear quite a bit that you'd hear. Mm-hmm.
We don't need no ghosties that swear. We got enough hosts that do that. we don't need no ghosties for that. Yeah. Ginger, where are you writing in from? And why don't I? Oh, okay, I see you over there. Okay, I got you. Where you are, Alberta. I was just talking to somebody in Alberta earlier today. Yes.
Alberta's in the hot seat right now, but we won't go there. That's another show.
Yes,
that's another show. Yes,
that's another show.
No, that's weird, Ginger. I was actually calling for someone else in Alberta, but I got their mom and I got to talk to them instead. What you got for us tonight? Ghost ships.
Oh,
where?
Beautiful. Where? Yeah.
Now, I've heard a lot of different stories about ghost ships all over the place. I've heard them, like up there in Shag Harbor. I've heard some weird stuff as well, not including the UFO that crashed into Shag Harbor, but I've heard other weird stuff floating around out there in boats. I know my favorite ships are the ones that just show up in the middle of the ocean and are like cruising for a coast and then disappear. I love them. Just recently there was a one they found floating off the coast of the UK, and it had been seen 2 or 3 days earlier further out, and they had boarded. There was nothing on board. Somebody made a video of it. There was nothing on board. No one at all. All the equipment was rusty and raggedy, and it was headed for the UK. It was actually headed for the port of the UK, which is so weird. And then the next day, poof, it was gone. Nobody seen it.
Wow.
They thought it sunk, but they went out there and scanned. There was nothing. They didn't find anything, so it was gone. But weird ships like that, I don't know if they're going through portals or what, or if just the current's moving them somewhere. But there seems to be 8 or 9 ships floating around in the oceans that from time to time seem to get seen. Mm-hmm. Whether they're ghosty ships or just somehow ships staying afloat. Well, ships can stay afloat for a long time. People
I
would be
think a lot of
surprised.
plane stuff too, like airplane stuff taking off. Denver Airport had quite a bit on video too. Looks like a plane's taken off and it just disappears on camera.
Yeah.
DIA is loaded with paranormal activity and UFO.
Yeah. I know Acker sent me a video not that long ago of what looked to be a C-120 taking off from the Colorado airport. He said, first off, Joe, he said, this plane too old to be taken off. He said, I said, it wouldn't be taken off from there anyway. It'd be taken off from the military, more than likely. I said, he said it was weird. They got a picture of it. Well, I got a video of it. So it's taken off and they're watching it across the sky this way and starts to bank like it's going to make the loop to go, back up to it. And it just disappeared.
That's the one I think I saw too. Yeah,
it just disappeared. It was just gone. With no clouds in the sky, there wasn't nowhere for it to go. It was just gone. It just, Jack, I don't portal or not. I didn't see anything. I just seen the plane was there. The plane was gone. Yeah, there wasn't no blinking light or no opening portal or nothing. It was there. It was gone. It's like it just faded. It didn't even fade. It was just gone. I don't know how to explain it. It was there and gone. Yeah, but usually, like with UFO sightings, you'll hear something like, "Oh, it's moving," and then it's gone. This thing it made the bank and it was making a turn and it was gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it was only, only thing you could have done was fell out the sky. And we know that didn't happen. The C-120 is not near fast enough to get out of your eyesight in less than a few minutes. So, even a fighter you could watch for 15, 20 seconds. Yeah. I mean, they buzz the city all the time. They come by breaking. They ain't even supposed to break the sound barrier in the city and they still do it, them asses. Breaking people's windows and stuff. Oh yeah, people. Sonic boom will bust your windows right out of your house. Sometimes they'll bust them out your car if you ain't careful.
Wow.
Yeah, it's actually supposed to be illegal for them to break the sound barrier over a city. When we were kids, they did it a lot, but they're not supposed to do it anymore. Oh, that's right. I'll get Olive's. Okay, I'll start right now. I forgot I was going to tell you. So I got in the field because people were crazy. That's why I got in the field.
That was simple, short and simple.
It was. Well, it's true. I mean, somebody came to me one time. I'm not gonna say who it was, and said they had been abducted by aliens, and I looked up at them just like this and went, "I'm not talking to you anymore." And they swore and swore and swore. And I said, "You're a politician," which we know politicians lie. And he was like, "Joe," and I was like, he said, "You know this would ruin my career," and I was like, "I still ain't believing you, dude." I said, "Were you abused as a child? Did this, that, or the other thing happen?" I said, "Are you just making this shit up?" And a couple of weeks later, out of the blue, someone I knew pretty well, for no reason, because they didn't know I was into it yet, said, "Hey, John, I don't know who else to talk to this, but I think I've been taken by aliens." And I just went, "What?" Just to make the story short, in the first year, I just got out of boot camp, and I was home in the first year, I had more than 11 people who I either knew personally or knew well from other ways that had something to lose if this got out, and just told me out of the blue they had been taken by aliens.
Wow.
So, I used to always preach when I was a kid. Some of us are here to teach and some of us are here to learn. And some of us are here for both. And what I mean by that is talking about karma, but it applies to other things as well. And in this case, I figured I must be here to show these people that they're getting nuts and that this is what caused it. And of course, here we are 39 years later, and I'm going, what the has been going on in this planet? Sorry, people, that's the truth. I mean, I could draw this out to a big, long thing that, you can make it out to be, but that's really what happened. It wasn't necessarily the amount, it was the people who said it. These were all people who were in big positions in their life and didn't even know me well enough to tell me they had been abducted by aliens.
Oh, wow.
It was like they used me as a muse or something, maybe because they didn't know me well enough or they thought I wouldn't say anything. Whatever it was, they felt the need to tell me, which still weirds me out even today. And knowing who these people were, like one of the guys was a police chief for the local police department, a big police department. It ain't some little rinky-dink department we're talking about. I had no idea why. Didn't know the guy from Bean. I met him one time with my dad at one of the restaurants he used to own before they told me he couldn't own restaurants because he was a tax collector. And I was like, okay, so you've been abducted by aliens. Yeah, dean of a college, actually dean of Tulane, told me they'd been abducted by aliens. It was a female, by the way. I was like, what? And wait, I was working on her house. I wasn't even the boss back then. I was just helping out a friend that had sent me on this to this professor's house to help him out with something, and they just started telling me about it. And I was looking at them the whole time like, you can whack, you know that, right? You run what college? Ivy League college. What? Are you crazy? It took everything I had not to say something nasty to that woman. And now I feel bad, of course, because I know now it was true.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and of course, a lot of these other cases, it was just it was like something was knocking me in the head. It was like, look, these are high end people who are coming to you out of the poof and telling you this.
Yeah. The too many of them, right? So you knew there was something.
I knew there was something going on. So I said, well, I guess I'll start looking into it. And for the next 3 years, till I was 21, I dabbled around with it. And then a friend of mine turned me on to MUFON. I think I was 20 actually. And I joined MUFON, and within the first year, I became one of their top investigators. Still didn't believe, mind you. I got to be honest. At 21, I thought UFOs were fake bullshit. And I was adamant about it. I would argue down like you would. Well, you've argued before, you know. I argue anybody down. They were like, and I apologize to everybody I did that to way back in the day, by the way. Just be honest with you.
We mellow with age.
Well, you learn with age, and I learned that I was wrong and not right. But did I say that again? Damn! I just got Michelle to admit the other day she was wrong about it, so I thought I had to write this down.
She'll be on soon.
And then 10 minutes later, I was wrong, so I had to go, God dang it. No, George, really. I mean, it was who and what I was. I mean, even today, I'm leery when someone comes up and says, I've been taken by aliens. A lot of times it throws up a red flag. Now, it's different now because if anybody knows some of the research I've been involved with at a radio station or other things that I've been involved with, Ancient Aliens, Coast to Coast, then it's different if they know me. If they've seen me or heard me somewhere, then that's a little different. But if you come out of the blue and you tell me, and it still happens even today, just perfect example. I'm in the bank the other day, okay? New teller, don't know this girl from Blink. Know the other, and the other girls kind of know what to do, so we're talking. And she said, oh, that's what happened. The guy next to us was talking about some sci-fi TV show, something about alien invasions. And she said, you think aliens are real? I said, oh, hell yeah. I said, they probably even visit our planet. They just don't want us dumb damn humans knowing they're here. And she said, yeah, I get the feeling sometimes like they come by my house and stop by and said, she said, I know you think I'm crazy. I said, no, I don't. I said, now you'd told me that 30 years ago. I said, you wacko crazy bitch. But today I'm like, no, you're just a sweet, innocent child that's probably been probed. It's a different world. You live and learn. No, I'm not being that harsh, Chris. Come on. I could be. I'm just not being. It's just, it's where it came from to me. It was just like it was being pushed into it. I'm not kidding you. I've always been a believer in when you're meant to do something or you're meant to have something. A lot of times, it's the path to it is a way easier than.
Yes, I agree.
Because we all strive for stuff in life, but it's like studio in this house I own today.
You keep getting steered towards it. I agree with you. And the further you get away, sometimes it seems like life gets more difficult. I don't know.
It does. That's true. It's a true statement, actually, for a lot of people. So just to put this house in perspective, I'm in right now. So I was at dinner. We were having a Christmas party for one of the companies that I do business with, right? So big. We had bicycle. Well, Bombay Club downtown New Orleans. Great club, great restaurant, great owner, no owner personally, and great food, great cigars, great everything, just great atmosphere. So we all having dinner. There's about 20 of us, and the guy who owns the place is, not the restaurant, but the company is footing the bill, and everybody's having a good time and eating away. And old man Joe, who was in his about 89 at the time, 88, 89 at the time, almost 90. I seen him sitting out in this garden outside where you can smoke. So I went outside, bought him a cigar and a glass of wine. I said, here, let's have a glass of wine and smoke a cigar and we'll chit-chat. Well, him and I chit-chatted. We had just an everyday conversation. So this man remembered this. So later on, him and I would bump into each other, talk and say hi. So he calls me up one day. He said, well, you're a contractor, right? I said, yeah. He said, my daughter's got a house on the coast that needs some renovation work. I said, sure, I'll go look at it. I get up here. Nothing in the house. Inside needs to be done. The house is pristine. They ain't even been lived in since Katrina. Some work outside, so I do all the work outside. I call him, tell him what he owes me. He goes, why don't you keep the house for 5 months as payment? Use it as a camp. down here, a house like this would cost you about $2,000 a week if you're doing it as a weekly rental. So it ain't even nice, and the nice ones are way more expensive. But so I said, sure, yeah, I'll keep it for a couple months. And then at the end of that time, he calls me. He says, look, this is what it costs my daughter to keep this house: insurance, taxes, and flood, homeowners, and taxes. About $500 a month. He said, if you give me that, you can just stay there as long as you want. Keep it as a camp. I was like, really? The whole time I'm thinking, what the hell? So anyway, I said, okay, fine. So we're commuting on weekends. We're in New Orleans working, commuting up here. And then one day he just calls me out of the blue, about a year later, and says, hey, come see me. I got something for you. I go by and see him. He says, hey, I want to sell you the house. I'm like, oh, I don't know about a house, all that shit. He said, no, it's company going, none of that. He said, I'm going to charge you 4% interest, $750 a month, 30 years, it's yours.
Wow.
Just sign the paperwork. He said, I'm even going to give you the payment for next year's insurance ahead of time. So he's cut me a check for $2,000.
Wow.
So I said, let me get this right. You're giving me this house for $750 a month, and you're giving me money to take it, right? He's like, yeah. I said, where do I sign up at?
Where would I say no?
But that was all because I took that moment to sit there and have that glass of wine with him, and that had nothing to do with anything else other than I was just being nice. And
it had no agenda.
There was no agenda whatsoever at all. He just looked lonely out there, and I felt like, hey, man, look, I've been there myself. I'm going to talk to you. Mm-hmm. And the guy he had a lot of wisdom. He'd been, he married, his wife was a nun, and he married her.
Oh,
I don't know how that works. He's a bad boy, I guess, but I don't know how that works. But I guess she was an ex-nun, and they got married. But he was a good old guy, and I know his daughter pretty good. She owned a really nice restaurant downtown, but she lost her husband out of the blue.
I want to hear how Amelia got in. I want to hear how she got into it too.
How did I get into paranormal?
Michelle grabbed her by the head and said, "Bitch, get in here."
No,
we ain't letting you in here, other redhead. I see you down there. You in the prison. She's in the prison.
I've always been in it. It's in my family. It's on my mom's side. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
Hey guys.
Yeah, it's just something.
Oh my God! I'm the only guy in this. Dude, this could be dangerous.
Oh, you're getting overruled by Canadian women now, Joe. I haven't met Lily.
Thank God Lily's here. Well, at least she's from the U.S. Come on, baby girl. Come on.
I haven't met Lily before either. So hi, Lily. I didn't
get Lily used to co-host with me on News on the Flip Side. Lily has put Michael in his place a couple of times over the years.
Oh, we need some tips.
She can be feisty when she wants to be.
Well, hi, Lily. Nice to meet you.
Hello.
Hi, Laura Lee.
Laura Lee, Michelle, and Amelia, who's hiding out tonight because she's.
No, eating. I'm here. Oh no, because
you're eating. I know you don't want to torture Joe.
I feel
good. She's got one of my favorite munchkins with her too, who's going to be probably a host by the time she's 9. There she is. There she is. Ooh, look at her hair, girl. She's getting some hair on her. I'm telling you, this kid gonna be a host by the time she's 9 or 10. Easy. She was trying to host with her mom when she's 2 years old. It's funny as hell.
Yes, she was.
You were coming to Michelle.
Sorry, yeah, I think I've been missing all the fun, but it was for a good cause. It's another
That's a good
purchase.
But wait, I know we cut Amelia off before she finished telling us.
No, it's okay.
Sorry, I came in right in the middle of talking.
That's okay. Michelle can tell you the story. No,
I don't even know where we were at. So,
I didn't catch.
She was telling us about her first
asking. My first probe.
No, because why we got in. That was the topic. So
I was thrown in. I was born into it. I didn't have a choice. It's generational on my mother's side, and I've always been able to see. And it's just, oh my gosh, I remember a little bit of not having it and pushing it aside because it frightened me, and more in the sense of not being afraid of ghosts or anything like that. That was very normal to me. I saw them like anyone would, but more in the sense of being perceived as being crazy.
Yes.
Hearing voices, and it being brought up in that culture that it's taboo and you don't talk about it, and you'll be taken as you're nuts, a straitjacket kind of thing. So I had a different experience with it. It was very difficult for a long time. I've had some really creepy experiences, and I've had some really amazing ones.
Oh.
But I'm grateful to my gifts for my gifts for the work that I've done with missing kids, and that's been a blessing. I've been able to, I think at the time, it helped me accept it more because I was doing something really good with it, rather than, not that I'm not putting anyone down in readings or anything like that, because I think they're beautiful messages that need to be told and people need to hear them. But I felt like I needed more than sitting down and doing readings. I felt like there was just something else calling.
Scary people.
I was just thinking that, but I was just thinking about that today, because you ladies were very kind to help out on somebody that was missing in our city that was found. But the thing I was thinking about was, the beauty in this is, right, and again, I'm not even going to talk about gifts. If you're building a house and you need some plumbing done, could we do it ourselves? Yes, we could. But if it's something that, say you got a friend or somebody that is a plumber, and they're willing to help you, why not have somebody that's their forte, that's their expertise, that's what they do, and you have them come in and either help or do the job. It's kind of the same thing. We all have different gifts, right? And we all work in different fields. And that's the beauty of it with the paranormal. It's so vast that, just when you might think you've seen it all, something gets thrown at you again, right? So to be able to work with your colleagues or bounce something off somebody else, even as a nurse, we do that too, right? You'll talk to your colleagues, say, what do you think? Like, so that's the beauty of it all. Like, when you reach out to say somebody that's their field of forte. And I was thinking of that with this child that was missing. And just so you know, Amelia, though she tells you all the time, and I know she does, Michelle said, I would bet anything. And she actually mentioned how many children you have found. And I think that's very noble, because that's where I've been wanting to also train towards working my gifts. Like, that's how we were talking about Chuck Kennedy, Dr. Chuck Kennedy and stuff.
That's a whole other show that I won't even go public on here. I don't believe in releasing numbers to the public. I don't believe
I didn't say
that it's no. I know you didn't, but I'm saying there are teams that do that. It's not why you do that. I do believe in staying anonymous with it. The cases I've discussed have been all public cases that have had permission from the families to discuss them, to help other families get through them. They are all families that work boots on the ground looking for other children as well, even though they've lost their own. And I have a really hard time with teams that I've left. And reason being why I've left is because numbers, and I'm not, pointing out anybody in particular.
Intuitively,
but
I knew that. That's why I didn't say it, because you can.
Yeah, I don't.
That you're doing it because of how passionate you are, and I think that's such a noble thing that you do.
Thank you. It's passion, but it's because I know I can help. But the whole thing is having your name out there so that people recognize you and know to come to you.
Yes.
So that they can get that help is one thing. Putting numbers out there that are fraudulent, for one thing, and you're giving false hope.
Absolutely.
You need to this a lot of teams start off in the right place, and then the reason why I don't work on any teams anymore is because they always end up back in what I call in a fame sort of toilet bowl. Sorry. They forget why they're there. It becomes, I'm on this team and we found this many children. Well, how many cases have you actively worked, honestly? And how many of those cases are in fact, when you say I've solved this many cases, and there are quite a few psychic mediums out there who have said this publicly. So be aware that when you say something publicly, I have the right to publicly come back and ask you.
Sure.
How have you contributed?
Mm-hmm.
How? When you say I solved this case, that means you either brought the child home or you yourself have solved the case and put everything to justice, which is not true. Mediums will help with messages, pieces of the puzzle, just as all detectives do. It's a team effort, collectively, detectives, families, friends, community members. That's how it comes together. You can say, I've assisted in helping, I've assisted in finding this person or giving clues or messages to this. But to say that you've actually found that many children is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyways, I have my own thing with my reasons
My
why
whole point was
with Kennedy.
you about how much Michelle believes in you.
Oh,
We all do. And that's where
that's because she loves me.
oh, we all love you. That's where I was
I
going
love her
with
too.
this.
Let's not start with that love me shit.
She
Sound like an
loves
episode of
me.
some scary
We
crap.
all
Yeah.
True.
that's
No,
where
you know what? You don't get involved in
I
missing
may never let
children
the
unless
guys
you
back
know
in
you
again.
can help. That's all I say. Don't do it because you want to be known that you're this medium that works on this team, or don't do it for the wrong reasons. Go in there with the right intentions. Use your gifts to the most fullest of your ability.
about the
Never
truth.
hold back is
The
what
fact.
I've learned the hard way.
It's
Don't
about the
hold back.
child. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, don't hold back. Give all the information forward.
Mhm.
And if you have that gift of being able to speak to the other side, use it.
Mhm.
Use it for good. Give back.
It's
I'm
about the
not saying
child, is what I was going to say, and the family, and that's what it gets lost sight of. And I hear exactly, if, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is about, if your name gets out there, it's for people to know that you can help. But again, yeah, it doesn't matter about the numbers. It's why are you doing this? And it's to help other people that are, especially as a parent. I can't even imagine what that must feel like.
the numbers shouldn't matter and who closes shouldn't matter, because when there's a team,
Mhm,
it's the team that's helping.
mhm,
And you're helping. You're giving bits and pieces of information.
mhm,
Let's not confuse the two. There are no detectives here.
mhm, mhm. I was
But
going.
anyways,
That's what I
sorry.
was. Where I was going with that, though, was like I said, how much Michelle, believes in you. That's why I had mentioned and how
Yeah.
much I appreciated. But even off the air, my whole point was that we still like connect, or we all have gifts in different areas, or the reasons why we
Yeah.
got there. That's where I
Strengths.
was going with that.
Absolutely. And I agree with you 100%. Sorry, I just lost it when I heard his name, but
No.
I agree with you 100%. Everybody has their strengths in the paranormal. We're all, everybody is gifted, but
Mhm.
we all have our strengths and we come together as a team to help.
No, I think that was needed though. You know why? Because that was the point I was trying to make, was again, we all have strengths, but when we come together, it's to be able to help other people, right? By using maybe your, like, and I don't want to use the word use, contributing with what
Yeah,
you have in the way of a gift, but it's here about people and helping people. That's where I think most of our hearts are, I think everybody here, anyways, with
absolutely.
paranormal. Yeah. Mhm.
No matter what you do, you're right. Whether it's helping with a haunting or it's helping with a missing child, or if it's a cold case, or
Or animals.
Yeah.
or animals, or like Joe with his, with the abductions and that, we all do it because we want to be there to help.
Fair. Hmm. Yeah. So, Joe, did you?
Weirdness. I'm just thinking y'all are weirdos.
No, you're not. We're
Oh,
not
sorry.
weirdos.
Yes, I know y'all are weirdos. That's beside the point. It's
Har har.
that. Hey, sorry, stuff's jumping all over my screen while I'm talking to y'all. What the hell is all that about? Oh no, I don't know. Paranormal's paranormal. Almost everybody I know who's in the paranormal, with the exception of maybe 2 or 3 people, had experiences in their life that drove them there,
Mm-hmm.
or they couldn't get away from the experiences, which drove them there faster. But think about it. Depending on where you live, I mean, us Americans and Canadians, all the Americans have it easy. Let's be honest. We don't get 6,000 years of history. Whereas Europe and the Middle East, they've been dying for a lot longer than we have been. And let's just talk about modern man for the last 2,000-3,000 years. Okay, so the Americans, a few Indians flopping around. You might see some natives running around through the woods or something. But Europe, I mean, look at France. It's probably been built on top of itself 3-4 times. God knows how many dead people are buried under that city. Same thing with London.
They're all dead, Joe.
What? They're still dead.
How many? They're all dead.
But there's a lot of them dead people. That's what I'm saying, which means there's going to be a lot of ghosties.
That's that cemetery joke.
And I'm not sure they
My
all
father used to
did.
get me on that.
Hey, look,
Michelle, how many people you
I
think
know
are
some
dead in that cemetery?
necromancers. I know some necromancers that
All
would
of
not
them.
agree with you.
All of them.
Thanks, Dad.
Yes. No, serious. I know some necromancers that wouldn't agree with you. They would say they were just resting.
I'm sorry, I just had to pay that forward. I got caught in it. Somebody else had to. Now I can rest.
Weirdy.
Pass it along, Joe.
No, you don't realize it took 20 years for me to get someone on that.
Oh my God! See, I know people. I get
It had to be Joe.
I know, Jeffrey. I get abused all the time, man. It's rough around here. I know.
Oh, he has it so hard.
It's gonna be bad when I bring in my bodyguard. She is a biatch, man.
We love her.
She makes Stephanie look like an angel. She might have got Stephanie into heaven actually because she's so much better.
Are y'all referring to New Orleans?
No, we're just talking in general. We're talking about all over the place. We just we've been chit-chatting about why all of us got into the weirdnesses we got into.
Okay, because like specifically, after the storm and everything, there would be a lot there.
There's a lot of weirdnesses around here, but Katrina concentrated the ghosties for a while. It's most of the storms do actually. So in New Orleans, because it's just basically a giant soup bowl. Anytime a levee breaks or it floods, the water can't get back out immediately. So you're just sitting there with 10, 12, 14 foot of salt water, no less. But God knows what other chemicals are in it, but there's lots of salt in it. So it just sits there and permeates everything. So any ghosties in these homes, they're being pushed out. So what they're doing is they're migrating to high ground. If they get there, they go into the old city, the Marigny, the Quarter, and Uptown, which is the St. Charles area where all the richy people live. And well, those neighborhoods are weird. So 1-2 blocks, first the St. Charles and the 2 blocks off, man, these people like rich like you wouldn't believe. Go back 2 blocks, go back 3 blocks, you're in the ghetto. It's a weird, strange neighborhood the way it's set up. But all of that didn't get inundated with salt water. It was above ground. So anybody who lives in those neighborhoods, that's where the ghosties went. They kind of concentrated in it. The ones that survived, I should say, went there. Plus the ones that were already there. So you had what was normally haunting the area, and then all these other ones that were trying to escape from wherever they were when the flood came got pushed there as well. And by the way, there were people in the hotels of the Quarter that said they seen what they thought were wispy things riding on top of the water. Some of them tried to say it was swamp gas. Some tried to say it was like little pockets of fog. Don't know what the hell it was because I didn't see it, but I don't think it was pockets of fog because the wind was blowing 100-something miles an hour. So I doubt it. In other words, if you could see it and it was moving and it wasn't being because of the wind, it had to be something that had some kind of control to it. Because there ain't no fog, smoke, or anything was moving around. That was going to just be flattened out like a pancake by Katrina, or the rain would have just drove it to the ground. You ever notice it's foggy outside and it starts pouring, all of a sudden the fog is gone. It's just rain because the fog pushes it all down and wipes it out. It's just basically a cloud anyway. So it's weird. So if you're seeing something, if you're in a hotel and the wind's chomping between 110 and 170 miles an hour, and you see something moving along, not at the speed of the wind, you got to kind of wonder what the hell it was. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it was ghosties or demons or gods or even aliens, but it was something. It was something going through there. And a lot of people said along the street line, right after Katrina, there seems to be a lot of ghosties like moving up and down the street line. One old lady told me one time, she said she thought it was like, they were trying to dry themselves out or something. Mm. She said, because sometimes you'd see them going by and then it would sparkle above their head where the power line was. It was weird. And I don't know even what to think about it. I don't even know what she just said, she's a lady probably been living not in the Quarter, but out on that part of the town for 50, 60 years. She grew up over there, and she said, it's just weird. She said, I was sitting there watching it go down the streetcar line, and you could see like 4 or 5 of them kind of just trailing behind each other. And every now and then, it was like they would get close enough to the line because it would start to kind of raise off the ground, and it was like just sparking. And then they would go back down to the ground and keep walking. I was like, so maybe they were using that to keep them grounded? I have no idea what that was about. First off, I'm not a paranormal investigator, but secondly, I just didn't even make any sense to me. I think, what are they grabbing energy, using it to keep
from
from
electrical
floating up?
storms, yeah.
But this is just a power line that runs over the street. I mean, not over the street, but over the in a lot of where the streetcars run. It has its own medium, and they put the streetcars on its own medium so they can run around. And they have a power line over the top of both sides of the track. And yeah, I mean, if you touch it, it would light your butt up. But I mean, it didn't make any sense why the ghosts were interested in it. And it was weird that it was charged because there wasn't much power after Katrina in the city. I mean, my house was on generators for 3 weeks. I bought 4 generators in Panama City, Florida before I went home. And I put 2 at work and 2 at home. And 2 at home, each one ran 12 hours on, 12 hours off, 12 hours on, 12 hours off. Nonstop. I had 3 55-gallon drums of gasoline back there running them. It was so funny, too, because we were probably the only people in like 6 neighborhoods. There was no light at all. And you knew we were there because the generator's loud to start off with, but our whole house was the only thing lit up for like 10 miles in any direction.
My
It was a little
friend
strange.
that lives in Georgia, she was saying now, because we haven't bought a generator in a long time, we have them too. But she was looking at a solar one. Have you heard anything good about those ones?
Yeah, Jason's actually got solar generators. He was telling me about it the other day on a radio show we were doing. He was talking about them. And
I hope they'd be quieter.
Well, yeah, a lot quieter. But, I don't know. Right now, I'm not so much worried about it because I'm not planning on staying for any more storms when the ghosties and the storms come. The storms bring the ghosties in. They want to come stay in my house? Fine, because I ain't going to be here. I tell you, Zeta's my last hurricane. I'm not even going to get into it, but I've been to more hurricanes than half of the people listening's been alive. And Zeta was enough for me. That was the last one. I've been through Betsy, Camille. I survived both of them. Betsy, which happened, you were talking about weird ghosty shit. So I was 3. I'm almost 4 when Betsy came. Now, where my house is right now is exactly about 150 yards from me, my mom, and my dad almost drowned to death. Oh, so my dad decided, I don't know what his brilliant idea was, but he decided we're going to leave. This is Betsy. Yeah. Okay, well, the winds just, the water's coming in, the golf's being pushed in, the neighborhoods are filling up. We had a big white Cadillac. Big, huge Masakina. One went with the big fins on. It was like whatever this was, 71 or whatever the hell this was. And so, man, we hit the turn to get out, ready to get on the bridge, and the water just picked the car up and took it. And I still remember this because I thought it was kind of fun at first. I didn't know. I was a kid. What the hell do I know? So we start headed. We're floating with Dad. I hear him getting all nervous, and my mom's freaking because my mom can't swim. A stroke. I mean, bitch, she is one of the worst ass whippings and worst punishments I ever got. I picked up one day and threw in a pool. Oh my God. She could have looked at it and get shot. But anyway, I didn't understand why I do now. But so anyway, she's freaking out. And my dad's getting really nervous because the car's starting to pick up speed and we're headed for the Gulf. Oh, and my mom can't swim and I'm like 4. Most I do is dog paddle, right? So all of a sudden we just jerk forward and get pulled back. Well, as the car was just getting into the Gulf, the nose was starting to nose in the Gulf. There was a chain link fence that wrapped around the exhaust pipes of the car. And it's like you could actually see something glowing in the water underneath the car, like there was something there. My mom swears maybe, I don't know what the hell it was, but whatever it was, we got hung up on that, and that saved all of us. So my dad took my mom out, set her on the hood of the car, and grabbed me, and I still remember this. He's taking me out the car, and as he opened the back door, all the lights inside the car, so you could see the door lights in those old cars. Had those fancy door lights in the side panels. It was glowing underwater. And I was like, well, look at that. And as I was looking, I seen something lit that just, I thought, I didn't know. Later on, I thought maybe it was a big eel or something that went by because it was glowing, whatever it was. It just took off. And he set my mom in the hood of the car. He said, now y'all stay right here. I'm going to go get some help. So he took off swimming, found some camp where somebody was staying, brought them back with him to get us. And while we were going back, I still remember this old man goes, did you see them 3 things? And my dad goes, shh. They saw something that wasn't supposed to be out there. And it freaked these 2 big old guys out. They just were like, I never seen my dad get scared at all. He was 60 something about 62 at the time. I was kind of like, huh? And then next thing I remember, I was waking up on the couch watching some cartoons. I passed out on the couch, I guess, somewhere through the night.
Oh,
it's creepy. The whole thing was creepy. It's
you never found out what it was, though?
No, you could either say it was a miracle or an accident, but something saved us. Because even the tow truck guy said he didn't understand because the car was, when we took off, we were probably a good 2 feet above the fence. So he said, you don't understand. He said, maybe the car just started sinking as it got to the fence. It was filling up with
Wow.
water. But it really hadn't gotten that much water in it yet. And that's when you felt, because my feet weren't wet. You know, when the car jerked us, my feet hadn't gotten wet yet. It wasn't until after the car stopped that it started filling up with water.
But what did they see? Like, was that maybe what was responsible for?
I don't know what it was. I don't know. This is. I heard them talking to one of my aunts or something. So they're not sure what was under the car because only two people saw it and none of the guys saw it. So they were just with the ladies. Well, maybe it was something that came to save whatever. They weren't going to argue with them about it. But the guys thought the things they were seeing leaving were reapers, collecting souls from the storm.
Okay. Yeah.
Because they both said the same thing. They got this sense of really like ungodly fear. He said, I don't know what it was, but it gave me this sense of I don't want to have anything to do with it. So that's just their own point of view. Like I said, I was too young. I don't remember any of it other than a couple of things here and there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really remember that much of it. I was regressed one time, and there is things in my memory, but nothing. And that's the problem. It could have been anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whatever it was, though, we're here because of it. And it's weird that I decided to buy a house not even 100 yards from where it happened. Well, it's not even that I decided to buy it.
Maybe it was your gray. Maybe it was your gray.
I'm just saying it's weird that that I decided to get a house here that was dropped into my lap. Mm-hmm. It's not like I went looking for this house. This house was, just came to me. And it's right here. And the other weird thing about this is one of the busiest areas for sighting on the whole Gulf Coast. Not just for alien sighting, but all kind of. We have 4 military bases and a NASA station here. There's shit always flying in the sky. And what's nice about that is you learn the pattern. So where this house is, there's 6 flight paths that come through here, close to my house. One actually comes directly over, but it's high altitude. Then we see these other things that fly 3 different paths from time to time, headed for NASA. Can't find them any official anywhere. And I have airport monitors. They're not showing up on the airport monitors as anything. You can't find them. An airport monitors everything that's listed in flies, including unlisted military.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can always see them, but you can't see them on the radar necessarily.
No, you can see them with your eyes, but you ain't gonna see them on the radar. You're not gonna see them listed on the fly. I don't know what they are. And there is a TR3B path that starts in somewhere outside of Pensacola and is cycled through. So this is a weird thing. The very first reports we got of these were actually in Fort Pike. And it's old Wrigley's Pass place. It's way out in the swamp. So we heard them there, and then we heard about some fishing boats seeing them somewhere in the Gulf between there and Pensacola. Next day, we also heard about them in the Gulf near Pensacola. So we were like, okay, they're flying over the Gulf. Well, that was half true because we found out because of sky watching that they make a big circle. So they leave wherever they are in that area, on Eglin Air Force Base probably. They leave there. They fly north of Interstate 10, and then they head east. Well, what's great about north of Interstate 10, with the exception of Mobile, it's all woods. It's either woods or swamp. There ain't nobody living out there. It's just a bunch of trees and deers and whatever. So you can fly over there, and then as you're flying over there, there's 2 NASA bases, actually, one in Alabama, one in Mississippi, where you can fly over their big area and not even have to worry about being seen. And then they make a left over the Stennis facility, which is at the Mississippi-Louisiana line, and they head south. Then they get to the Michoud NASA facility, and they head back west or back east. So they head west, and they head south, and then they head back east. They make a big, basically, rectangle. And they do it 2 or 3 nights a week. And if you just want to go out there and watch them, you can. They don't even seem to care to down there watching them. And it started, I think the first time we filmed it was in 98 or 99. Still goes on today. They don't do it as often now. They do it like bi-weekly, but they're still out there. Best way to catch them is to go park on Highway 90. Actually, no, 601, Highway 601, right before the front gates of the NASA facility, about a mile before the front gates. There's a couple places you can sit off and park. Park your car, turn off all the lights. There's no lights out there. There's no sound out there. It's beautiful sky, and just lay back. And do it between 7 o'clock and 10 o'clock in the summertime. And what you're going to notice, the first thing you're going to notice is the animals get quiet. You don't really notice it at first because you're usually talking to somebody. And then if you're looking up at the sky, you'll notice you don't see the stars in a certain area of the sky anymore. You'll notice it's like a triangle shape, just black on black. It's blotting out the stars. So you know it's something physical as it's going by. It's completely soundless, odorless. and it's easy to watch. And we've observed it many, many times. And we brought a lot of people. And I got to tell you, though, man, it freaks the shit out of people. People, because that's the first time I think some people realize that either our government has technology we did not realize or somebody else is visiting the planet. Either way it goes, it freaks them out because they're just, wow, I thought you would BSing us, Joe. No, so I tell people, and so many people have come down and taken up the offer, and so far we're batting about 98%. Can't predict them every time, or taking them down to Gulf Breeze. People always see something in Gulf Breeze. Everybody has experiences down there, and it's. A funny thing is, I took down a group of paranormal researchers right after Katrina down there, and we had a bunch of people. We had people down from Canada and a bunch of places helping work. So I took them down, and these were paranormal. These weren't ufologists, except for one other person besides me. And little Jason was with us, and that was a crazy night. And everybody seen something, and people seen shit they didn't want to see. I'm telling you now, man. They were like, "I'll never speak to you again." I'm like, "Wow, you said you wanted to go." I said, "I told you what was going to happen." I'm not kidding you. At least 4 of them don't speak to me anymore. Out of the 14 that went that night, 4 of them don't speak to me anymore. Oh, and one of them's passed away, but they were very, very angry at Joe. They didn't like aliens walking behind them. They didn't like the fact that they got to see him up close and personal within 10 feet. It's a little spooky. When you think you know grays are real, and you think you see him in the corner of your eye, you think you see him walking around the house. When somebody's just staring you in the face, going, "Well, hi, Michelle, how are you today? You been sweet? You doing okay? You want to come inside? Want to check out our new place under the ground right here?" And you're like, "No."
I'd be like, "Yep."
Yeah, it's crazy warm. Yeah, that's why her and my wife could never ever get together. I'd be bailing them out.
Whatever.
Bullshit. I'd be bailing y'all
We'll
out.
just shove you off to the side.
Yes.
And where are we in there?
I made a joke about this to somebody the other night. I said, "Yeah, there's 2 females on the stage, and my wife. I'll never let them get together." I said, "Because I'll have to have at least like 10 grand in bail just to get them out of jail the next day." She's like, "What?" I said, "Trust me on this, man." And I said, "Mm-mm." And I said, "None of these women need encouragement to go get in trouble as it is." Thinking shit.
No, we'd be all over that.
Actually, Jeremy, we only got about we're gonna leave a little early tonight, so we got about 5 minutes. What you got?
So I have a recent sighting from someone I know. It looked like an anomaly that went over the car, and at first he thought, oh, like a dragonfly, maybe with the lights hitting the wings, because they were like 4s, 4 little lights. But he said, with greater description, it would be like a 4-sided triangle, right? But inverted, like one into the other. And it was just kind of floating by, and it had all these little lights on the ends of it. Any ideas, guys?
Could be a lot of weird little things.
See, I don't know.
It's hard right now. In the old days, I would immediately went to either government or ET, but now with all these freaking drones flying around. So the other day, a friend of mine just screwing with me. He sends me this video, really good UFO video. Really good. Nope. It's a drone. So he took his drone and he built a craft around it, and he put it in a particular area in the sky and just let it go. And he went out there with his video camera and filmed it, and it looks badass. And I was like, "Dude, just don't even put that out there. It says it's going to go viral. People will say it's a UFO, and then I'm going to combust their bubble." I said, "Don't do it." He's like, "Really? Can I really?" I'm like, "No, it's a good one, but it is. It's just a drone." So it's a. When you look at it, it looks just like some kind of UFO alien craft, but he's really good with the zoom.
This wasn't that big. And it was right literally over the hood of the car.
Yeah,
so
that's why I think
if
it's a
drone. If it was any bit bigger, he would have noticed. Or something.
Yeah,
like,
well, no,
like
because they got drones just big around.
I'll see. Yeah, and it would have been probably like about that big, but just
hockey pucks. Oh yeah, they were all kind of
dimensional. Yeah.
It's weird. I don't know what's going on. And then they got these things where they can flip them and spin them. And some of the drones today can actually reproduce the Foo Fighter movements back in the day. They can't reproduce the speeds, but they can reproduce the movement. So that's a start. That says at least we're moving in the right direction. Obviously, we can't figure out how to go that fast yet, but they went fast, man. Faster than anything we got moving along. But it's weird to see these kind of things going on. What do you mean, Claire? Oh no, paranormal is paranormal. It's anything outside of the norm. See, in my life, paranormal is normal. So if it's outside of that, then it's paranormal to me. I know it's confusing, but it's true. Yeah, because my life is weirdness. I got paranormal friends, and I got a lot of business people friends, but it's not what I mean. It's just a lot of stuff that you would consider paranormal, I just consider normal because I deal with it every day. And when you deal with it every day, it's not abnormal. It's normal. Yeah, I don't make the rules again.
Exactly. Like this is a haunted house. The things that go on here are everyday normal things for the most part.
Yeah,
I won't say that things don't get weird here, but for the most part,
like whatever them gummy bear things are back there move, whatever the hell that is. Michelle's always got something moving around in her house, man.
She does.
It is weird.
Actually,
I don't want to see myself. Get me out of here. I wasn't looking.
Somebody sent me a picture this weekend. I just saw it this morning. I haven't been able to find more details, but it's somebody we all know. And it's pretty interesting. They were up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
You look great.
I was just trying to see what them things were behind.
Yeah, like what the heck?
A long day on the road. Get out of there.
I was just trying to see the things behind. Yeah, it was kind of weird over there. But no, I know we got to get out of here, so we'll.
But you cut Laura Lee off.
Oh, that's okay.
Did I apologize, Laura?
That's time to talk.
I apologize. I try not to cut her off. I know she got a little lag, so I try not to cut her off. That's why when I hear her talking.
Next Thursday, unless they screw things up again. Thursday, we will have super fast internet. We should have no more lag. That's why, you know what? I apologize, Amelia.
But you're not skipping tonight.
No, I end up talking over people because it seems like there's a pause. That's supposed to be fixed Thursday. Yeah. Finally.
They will be good to go. But anyway, Laura Lee, tell them where they can find you, and we'll make the rounds and we'll get out of here.
Yeah, well, I'm going to be on tonight, actually. I am going to be on at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern with the Angel Rock. And I got to get his name right, Steve Burgess, I think it is. Burgess. And we're going to be talking about past life regression. And you guys are laughing. Yes, I know, because I just saw you guys just had him on.
He's a great guest. He's so knowledgeable. Yeah, he's awesome.
It was from his publisher. He had asked me a couple months ago, so that's why I'm having him on. I haven't met him, so I'm really looking forward.
He's great. He's great. Yeah,
and
like
then tomorrow night, my PIC and bestie Seraphine Hurley and I will be back at 9 p.m. Central with Tripping the Void. So, and as always, I love doing this with you. This was so nice to have an all-girls night tonight with Joe.
I know. You didn't hear what I said earlier. I might not let the guys come back to that. Watch out.
It's
we'll behave.
See?
We'll behave.
It was nice and peaceful for a change.
Yes.
Yes, and if you're listening, guys, I did say that out loud.
Yes.
It's I've never been real bashful now. But anyway, we got to get out of here. Y'all know where to find Michelle on Wednesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays. And of course, find Laura Lee's on Mondays and Tuesdays. And I'm here somewhere all the time. So just look me up. Lots of shows coming up this week. A lot of good stuff on the network. Lots of things coming up next. Horsefly Chronicles with Julia and
Phil.
Phil, I apologize. I had George in my head for some reason.
Julia and Phil Syracuse on the Horsefly Chronicles coming up next.
Yeah,
Joe.
Thank God Michelle's here. Anyway, guys, we got to get out of here. I want to tell everyone thank you for hanging out and chilling out. We had a good show and a lot of peaceful people hanging out tonight. So if you want to write to anybody, or if you can find all their information on the web or on Facebook. If you had something particular, just reach me at iCarCox.net. I'll make sure they get it as long as it's not stupid junk mail. And on that note, good night and stay tuned for the Horsefly Chronicles. Good night, everybody. Bloop and bloop.